I know what you want with the purpose thing, okay?
Yeah. Well,
but here's the thing, because I know what you want me to say is like, House gives people or helps them, put them on the path to build on their purpose, right? That's what you fucking want from me. But you're not gonna get that because what House really does is something way better than that.
House is a place for creatives to come together to network, collaborate, and aspire to be great.
House is a community. What we provide that community is the infrastructure to find that success through our education programming, through our industry partnerships, and through the way the community can come together. The journey of education is a healthy mix of imagination and practicality.
We're trying to create new pathways to success. Before he was the weekend, he was able to SV. And we dropped out of school just because we weren't necessarily getting the services and educational system that we were in, so we had to go House.
And so this masterclass is the opportunity to rethink how we deliver education to people.
When people look at this live touring space, they think, oh, it's not for me. The idea was to educate people that there's so many categories that people can jump into. As soon as you enter the educational system, you're just taught to stay within a box. There needs to be a big shift in dismantling that.
Those dreams that you have, the thing that you thought you never knew you could do, that's what this tour and this masterclass are.
This is Stand Together Presents. Stories, ideas, and advice from changemakers tackling our biggest challenges.
You don't need to be quiet even though the room's letting you feel that way, right? If you didn't know where you are, welcome to the masterclass. It's kind of like this crash course on the live experience industry, trying to mix this idea of like tangible skills, engaging with stage, visual, and lighting design. That's gonna happen in different ways. We're gonna go through everything.
We've launched House in 2018. It's been a few years now. Our first program was a program called No More Dreams. We bring everyone with a different medium, photography, textile design, graphic design, etc. And we created these one-day challenges that doesn't cater to their exact discipline, but it's more of creative thinking. And we kind of want to expand our horizons. So what's happening in the masterclass today is to open up the possibilities in the live sort of production and live touring space. We've been working with Tate for a little over a decade now. They've built all of our stages.
Tate is the world leader in live events. If it's live, it's us. Every single position across live events is thirsting for new talent, and the doors aren't quite as easy to find. This gives an opportunity to people who are driven to open those doors, to find the handle. I think to have the context of the masterclass, you're gonna have to have the context of the events leading up to it, which is 4 cities across the United States.
And then we take the best portfolios that we see. That's a mix of these different industries because being a multidisciplinary creative is crucial to this industry. You're thinking things and you're learning how to make those things. And that along the way, somebody shares with you the experiences of what it means. And so we built a program that could give them access to the skills, to the things that no one has ever taught them.
Gave them a brief and they concepted throughout the day and pitched back to the judges in each city and picked the winning groups and brought them to Tate to do a 5-day challenge.
We decided that instead of you working with the people that helped get you here, we're gonna mix up the groups with different people from all the different tour stops.
So day one of the master class, I had a ton of questions because I've never done any concert designs, but I know what I do in my day-to-day work would be easily translatable into that space.
I'm originally a pianist, and I find myself now having to practice a bit more like technical things than I normally do.
We have to create a 5-city tour for an artist of our choice. We have to figure out how this thing is getting built, how it's getting packed, how it's getting moved, and how it's getting built again. And it also has to be a concept.
The project we're working on is called the Intimacy Tour. We're designing like a house on stage, kind of having a bit of a jam session, really just like emphasize like the intimate feeling. Yeah, the classes just pushed me into different places of thinking that I didn't normally think about.
Okay, so this is your room for the week, but most of the week is also gonna be spent the sprawling campus that is Tate.
We are at a period of generational change.
there has to be sort of a transfer of knowledge because a lot of these guys are approaching the last few years before they retire, and there's not a younger generation behind them that they can transfer that wealth of knowledge to. So the idea was just being in proximity to individuals that are doing the thing that you inspire to do, having them sort of coach you through it, mentor you through it. That's everything.
You're nothing without the people who are willing to share their experience with you. My mentors are the things that left the imprints on me.
There has been a major divide between industry and young creative talent. And our job is to make better relationships between that.
The intention of this is for you to get a little bit of an understanding of what they do, because these fine people have committed to come give you perspective on the things that you're working on, the things that you're designing. Hey, Henry, is going to tap you on the shoulder and be like, that is super dope. Do you know that that's going to cost $36 million?
We are helping lay foundation. I'm not someone who benefits from traditional learning. I'm a hands-on learner. Everything here at this masterclass is something you don't get out of a book. It's something that being surrounded by industry experts with experience can only share with you. We take somebody who's a purely creative, give them a basis in technology, a basis in logistics, a basis in reality, and then finally, I'd say the last thing we talk about is really how to take a vision and bring it to life. And that on its own is the biggest journey of them all.
What they are getting is what you're going to need to thrive in this industry and what it takes to get into it, stay in it, succeed in it.
It's a house, and I like that it's not centered on the turntable and just spinning around its own axis. I like that it spins towards you and away from you.
Now we have more info on how everything works, right? Like lighting and pyro, the height of certain things, so that people can see all these minimal details. So this is what we're basically doing right now.
Right now, your arena is inside, does not go outside. If your show is outside and submitted to the elements, things change. Things will get blown about. Things have to be protected.
I feel like definitely still have a big of a learning gap to learn, but just having someone guide you along and tell you step by step is so great, because in something like film, no one really teaches you. You kind of just learn from your mistakes.
None of this happens overnight. The scope at which everything comes together is incredible. Whatever you put on paper then goes to hundreds of people, and then they all have to figure out, what do we do with this? How do we make this?
I think we still have a couple things to work on this morning, but we're gonna do our presentations in front of our mentors.
They're obviously all feeling nervous. Some of them probably feel a little bit under the gun right now. They'll have roughly about 15 minutes to present. And then after that, about 15 minutes or so time for the mentors and stuff to give feedback. Essentially, this is the kind of the culmination. But my first question to the tenants is, does anybody want to go first? When you go through experiences like this with other people, you're bound for life. So we create networks.
All right, by show of hands, how many of you guys have heard of Sade or Naomi Sharon?
Well, we decided to go with Steve Lacy.
Pink Panthers.
Arctic Monkeys.
People start walking out and they start to form this body installation, some an actual feeling of intimacy, which is something that we wanted to lean into for this.
We really wanted to play around with oversized objects
and really bring those back seats closer into the experience.
And try to give people somewhere new to look. Oh man, I gotta rearrange how I'm sitting. We're over here now.
Which means you're eating up more and more space, which also requires more and more truck space. How many trucks do you think you're at now?
My most educated guess, 11?
Fascinating. You're definitely low.
Isaiah, I must say, seeing the presentation in LA and seeing the presentation now, I really want to see your art in the actual live space, because between the last workshop in LA and now, I think you got something.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Appreciate this.
How was it like standing up there and presenting your ideas?
Nerve-wracking. We were the first group and we got grilled the hardest. But it was good. It's such a valuable learning experience.
Yeah, I practice such a niche art form. But I guess coming here, it just feels there's way more pockets that I fall into than I was even aware of. And I just feel like anything's possible. And I might end up somewhere and do things that I never anticipated.
You're seeing how a show gets produced. You get the experience, understanding exactly what the live experience industry is all about, and what are the skills, knowledge you're gonna need to get into it. Nobody tells people enough about all of the opportunities to be something. You wanna talk about people don't have big enough dreams? Well, you don't give them enough information to sometimes give them the foundation of what a dream can be. We built a program that could give them access to the skills. So that way, when you get the opportunity to be part of that industry, you're in position to succeed.
I think on our part, we need to be a little more communicative that these opportunities exist. The world is hungering right now for people with tangible skills. And as their careers rise, they hopefully come back someday and work with us and help to build those workforces.
One of the major outcomes that came from the masterclass was that 3 of the tenants were invited back to Tate and work with them on the stage design of the upcoming weekend tour.
I think the problem is lack of opportunity. I truly believe everyone deserves to get to the door, but a lot of people go through life never even having the opportunity to get their shot off. So ultimately, when we created House, it was with that mindset, creating an equal playing field for people. More than anything, it just gives them an understanding that there's a place for them. I think when you're in the room, and they can see themselves sort of working in the space. So we're trying to expand that room as big as possible.